Trey Smith is free. Are the Bears going to destroy the league with this signing? I have all the details. Maximum alert in Chicago. Is Poles about to set the NFL on fire? Or sink the team into the abyss? An invisible ultimatum runs through Hallis Hall. Either they dominate the next 72 hours, or the rebuild turns to rubble. First threat, a young and lethal Super Bowl guardian could fall into their hands, or escape forever if Mahomes intercepts. His signing would cost $105 million, but what if Caleb Williams ends up on a stretcher for not paying? It's now or never. But the clock doesn't forgive. Second disaster, 2 third-round picks disappeared. How? A miscalculation leaves Poles with 8 bullets to hunt 3 key pieces. In the draft, this is not playing. It's surviving. Imagine a mediocre edge because the GM couldn't move up in rounds, or a WR that doesn't unlock DJ Moore. One mistake and the season bleeds out. And here comes the mercy blow. 2 brutal cuts free up $10 million. For what? Someone is coming. Someone big. A predator with a history of 15 sacks? Or a veteran who already knows the roar of Soldier Field? But beware, if Poles fails, the defensive line is exposed. And the NFC North doesn't forgive. Act now, Bears Nation. Do you trust Poles to conquer March, or fear another year of broken promises? Subscribe, or do you prefer to find out late when everything explodes? Trey Smith is free. Are the Bears going to destroy the league with this signing? I have all the details. What's going on here, Bears Nation? We have movement and I promise you this is big. I told you, don't sleep on it. Trey Smith, the star guard of the Chiefs, could be free in March. Did you hear that right? This 25-year-old Super Bowl champion monster is on Chicago's radar. But what does this mean? I'll explain. First, hard facts. Smith allowed 0 sacks and 708 blocking plays protecting Patrick Mahomes in 2024. 0! And his run blocking grade on Pro Football Focus was 80.8, top 5 in the league. Do you understand what this means? He's a beast on the interior line. And at 25 years old, he's the perfect piece to rebuild an offensive line that has been a disaster in Chicago. But here comes the good part. The Athletic source, Nate Taylor, confirms that Kansas City will not use the franchise tag on Smith. Translation? He's up in the air, and the Bears have $69 million in cap space to throw a nuclear offer at him. But how real is this? I'll tell you, wait, because the Chiefs can still renew him. There's the trick. According to ESPN's Dan Graziano, Smith would seek a $105 million contract, tying him as the highest-paid guard in the NFL. Is it worth it? I think so. Let's do the math. Bears family. Caleb Williams needs protection. In 2024, Chicago's line allowed 45 sacks, 26th in the NFL. Smith not only blocks, he dominates in the running game. Imagine DeAndre Swift running behind this man. Risk? Paying $21 million annually to a guard. But didn't we pay $19 million to Cody Whitehair for being cut? This is investing in a superstar. But beware, the Chiefs could offer him a renewal before March 12th. And if Mahomes pushes to keep him, then the dream vanishes. But if Smith hits the market, Ryan Poles, the Bears GM, must act like a shark. And now, my controversial opinion, if the Bears don't sign Smith, it's a crime. What's the point of having $69 million if you don't bring in premium talent? We can't keep signing economical players like Nate Davis. This team needs dominant veterans. Here's the question I asked you. Is it worth breaking the bank for Trey Smith, or would you prefer to spread that money across multiple signings? Comment below. If Smith comes to Chicago, I promise you the offensive line will take a first division leap. But if the Chiefs retain him, well, we can always cry on Twitter. I have some news that will leave a bitter taste. Bears Nation. Are you ready for this? The NFL doesn't forgive, and today I bring you a play that hurts more than an offseason sack. Yes, I'm talking about those 2 third-round picks that the Chicago Bears lost because Ian Cunningham didn't get the GM job in Jacksonville. And why should you care? Because this isn't a preseason fight, this is pure strategy. Let me explain. It turns out the Bears had everything planned. If Cunningham, the assistant to GM Ryan Poles, had gone to Jacksonville, the NFL would have compensated them with 2 third-round picks, one in 2025 and another in 2026. But the Jaguars... And no! They chose James Gladstone from the Rams. And now, Chicago is left without that bonus and with less room to move in the draft. How does this affect? Let me give you the harsh truth. First, the lines, both offensive and defensive, need urgent reinforcements. With 4 picks in the first 72 selections, an additional third round would have given them the flexibility to move up in the draft, negotiate, or even hunt for a hidden talent. Do you know what 2 third-round picks are worth? It's the ground where teams are built. Without them, Poles will have to be a genius. Do you think he can? Second, there's pure irony here, isn't there? Keeping Cunningham is good for continuity, but it costs picks that could change the team's future. Is it worth it? I ask you, do you prefer a solid executive at home or draft capital to secure tomorrow? And watch out, the Bears have 8 picks in total this year, but is it enough? Let's compare. With the extra picks, Poles could move mountains, bet on high-risk projectiles, or secure 2 key players for the trenches. Without them, the pressure rises. The 10th pick is gold, but after that, how to balance needs without room for error? And don't give me excuses. Didn't the management see this coming? Was it a mistake not to prepare for this possibility? Or did they trust too much that Cunningham wouldn't stand out? I tell you, in the NFL, nothing is certain. But here's my final argument. Ryan Poles has shown shrewdness. Remember the mega trade with Carolina? Can he use his magic again? Of course. But now, every move must be precise. One mistake and this falls apart. And I ask you, Bears Nation, is this setback a mortal blow to draft hopes, or just an obstacle that Poles will overcome with ingenuity? Leave your opinion below. Do you trust the GM to find talent without those extra picks, or does this doom them to another season of mediocrity? Explosive move by the Chicago Bears. Are they preparing a bombshell in free agency? I have news that will shake Soldier Field. Put on your helmets, Bears family, because Ryan Poles just freed up over $10 million in salary cap space. They cut 2 veterans, Gerald Everett and DeMarcus Walker. Financial intelligence or a monumental risk? Let's get to the bottom of it. First, Gerald Everett. Do you remember when they signed him as Shane Waldron's secret weapon? Well, he turned out to be a nuclear fiasco. 8 receptions for 36 yards in a whole season. Did Waldron even know Everett was on the team? A tight end who played only 22% of the offensive snaps is inexcusable. And on special teams? 0 impact. I tell you this, Everett wasn't a player, he was a ghost with a helmet. By freeing up $5.5 million, Poles sent a clear message: there's no room for mediocrity in Chicago. But here comes the controversy. DeMarcus Walker. 17 games as a starter, 47 tackles, 16 QB pressures, and they cut him. In what universe does it make sense to get rid of a defender who dominated the trenches? But that's the business, $5.25 million in savings. But watch out! I ask you, would Ryan Poles free up that money without having a master plan? My instinct screams that a shark is coming in free agency. Who are the suspects? Josh Sweat from Philadelphia, a 27-year-old predator. DeMarcus Lawrence, a proven veteran in Dallas. Or Deo Odiingbo, a young fury from Indianapolis. But wait! Dennis Allen, the new defensive coordinator, could bring Khalil Mack back to Chicago? Yes, the same Mack who dominated with the Bears. Or Chase Young, who already played for Allen in New Orleans. And what if Poles makes the trade of the century trying to bring Myles Garrett or Max Crosby via trade? These are the kind of moves that change franchises. Here's my verdict. These releases are a declaration of war. Poles isn't rebuilding. He's building a super team to dominate the NFC North. Risk? Of course. But without Walker, the defensive line is in check. And watch out! The 2025 season has to be a postseason one or Poles and Eberflus are out. Now I ask you, Bears family, what should Poles do with those $10 million? Sign a star veteran like Mack, bet on a young talent, or use that money to strengthen another position. Bears Nation, 3 decisions that will define the team's future. And your opinion counts. Do you think investing a fortune in Trey Smith would be worth it to fortify the offensive line, or would it be smarter to spread that capital across multiple strategic signings to balance the roster? It's time to choose quality versus depth. But the impact doesn't end there. The setback in draft negotiations has shaken the fan base. Will this setback be a mortal blow to the hopes of recruiting young talent, or do you trust that Ryan Poles will turn this obstacle into a master opportunity with his creativity? The community wants to know if you believe in the plan. And to top it off, those $10 million freed up in the salary cap. Should they be used to bring back a veteran impact player like Khalil Mack, take a risk on an uncut diamond, or strengthen another weak position? This decision could change everything in 2025. Bears Nation, now it's your turn. Comment your answers, leave your prediction, and join the family. Subscribe to be in the front row for every update heading into the season. Together we are stronger to analyze, debate, and build the future of this legendary team. Don't be left out. Click subscribe, activate the bell, and be part of our pack. Bear down!